What's up, brothers?
Good, good.
Hey, Alan, good man. Yeah,
I am so glad to have you guys on here today, and I'm just excited for you guys. First and foremost, that you guys wanted to share your journey on the Purpose Pod, and also talk about the launch. And that's what I want to do first and foremost. Before we even dive into your story, before we even dive into Petty Gigs, just tell the people what's going on this weekend with Petty Gigs.
yeah. So this weekend, after all the hard work for over a year, we've been in the back end developing the Petty Geeks app that's going to benefit generations. That's going to benefit teenagers and old people likewise.
Mhm.
It's going to be the app that's going to change the paradigm of how gig is done, how the gig economy is done. Period. Right.
Yeah.
So we're going to be launching Petty Gigs. We're encouraging everybody to come out, support the launch. Petty Gigs is going to take over Charlotte sooner rather than later. So come on board so early and join the new revelation of doing gigs. So Friday we're going to be out there at Freedom Park, beginning at 3 p.m. In the afternoon. Just hanging out, getting to know our folks, getting to know prospective giggers. Telling people more about the app, signing people up to get the app, and overall we're just going to be partnering and having a good time. So come and join us.
Yeah.
And then on Saturday we are going to have a launch event at Davidson College in Cornelius. Just sharing the vision of Petty Geeks and hanging out with folks, networking and socializing. So come out and support us.
That's awesome. So you guys know that Petty Gig they're gonna be busy this weekend. So if you're in the Charlotte area, make sure you check out Petty Gigs. This is what the app looks like. If you all can look at the screen right now, this is what the app looks like, and this is what you're going to be downloading, folks. You're going to be downloading this because we're supporting Petty Gigs on this show. And like I said, I have the founder and the co-founder with me, and I know Alois has been sitting here patiently waiting. He's ready to grab the rock. He's ready to grab the ball, and it's not just fun. So, but Alois, man, how you doing, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good, Alan. Yourself?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm alive. Can't complain. William and I and Melvin, we met. We were just talking about a year and a half ago, for some brunch, for some breakfast, and to talk about Petty Gigs. And when I heard about Petty Gigs, I was like, wow, this is an awesome app that they're bringing out to people. So how do you feel about this, Alois? How do you feel about it?
No, I feel good. I feel really excited. The way I think about Petty Gigs from the get-go, and excuse my voice, I'm battling some bug, and I'm actually on my way to the airport as we speak.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
But anyways, when William and I first discussed Petty Gigs, right? For me, the way I saw it was, if I were to sum it up in a word or two, is freedom, everyone. And what does that entail? In the case of the giggers, right? You are providing teens and young adults financial freedom early, by empowering them to both earn and eventually be able to save and invest.
Yeah.
In the case of business professionals, you're freeing them up and granting them more time, right, to have their lives back in exchange for having some young person do some on-demand short-term tax for them. And in the case of the elderly, you're stepping in and providing that community support. And nowhere has that been more evident or necessary as over the last several months due to the pandemic, right? Where many of our elderly folks were left to fend for themselves. In fact, I just came from seeing my moms as we speak, and so I can relate the need to having this type of service, both enabling the younger folks early on, but also helping out the community, in this case, elderly folks and business professionals.
Yeah. I like what you're saying there, Alois, because there's the gap that a lot of apps haven't been able to fill, and some people haven't had access to like Uber Eats or different things that are out there because they don't feel like driving around all day. But what I see with Petty Gigs is like you have your niche. Like if you know how to plumb, if you know how to walk a dog, if you know how to wash a car, if you know how to cut a grass, like you have an opportunity to make income from Petty Gigs, right?
Exactly. And especially if you think about it, right? So back in the day, you had, paperboards on paper routes, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's less of a case now. So think of little Joey down the block, or a little Tehran down the block.
Mm-hmm.
He, they can't do a paper route no more, but you may, need someone to walk your dog, and he's, a pretty good dog handler, or you may need someone to come in and shovel, snow.
Yeah.
And he come in and take care of that for you. So
Yeah.
in fact, the way I tend to sum it up, and you probably grab this from me. Like I open up, I say, "Freedom, everyone."
Mm-hmm.
I have to have these 1 to 2 liners to kind of sum things up to make sense in my head. And the way I like to sum it up is, the American dream in your pocket. So you're giving young folks the access to early on to the American dream.
Come on. So hey, A-List, I love that, William. So this American dream that A-List is talking about right here, this American dream that we all know too well, and especially people who come from different countries that make their home here in the United States. I think it's very awesome that A-List just described it as such. So how has it been for you, and what inspired you to create PettyGigs?
Right. So, for listeners out there, I came to the States as an immigrant, and I think Alois can share that same sentiment, so to speak. And I had to work on the weekends. Sometimes I had to work the entire week and then go to school, right? If I had something like PettyGigs available where I could earn money doing what I like to do, doing what I know how to do in my free time, that was going to be a huge help. Because what happened, you have little quality of life when you have to go to school, spend hours studying, and then have to prioritize between going to work, earning an income, and then actually studying your school work. So it's based on our tenacity, our ability to persevere through hardship that we were able to make it. But we cannot speak the same for the generation that is growing up right now. So it's based on that inspiration that PettyGigs came about, giving people the flexibility to do what they want to do, especially teens and young adults in their time, and so that they have the quality of life that desire, and they can focus on school and other things.
Yeah, I love that. So you guys are giving us that American dream that do work on free time, and you could possibly make enough money if you do things the right way. I was thinking about this earlier, y'all. I don't know if y'all know, y'all don't know this, but I was thinking about this earlier. I was like, man, so if I get a lawnmower and I get a lawnmower and I need a couple of extra change or whatever it is, like you can make extra money, and that extra money could be something that could turn into your salary even, or so like you just have to really think about these people while you're at the forefront of PettyGigs. Understand what it's going to allow you to do with your time and your life, and the people that it's reaching. So I just had to say that right there, because I see it. Like when I talk about like PettyGigs, I'm telling my friends about it. I'm like, my brother, he has construction, right? So I'm like, bro, you got to get in on this. You got to check it out. So people who need work, and I wanted to get back to Liberia in a second. But mainly people who need work right now. What is your message for them in this season? Like, just it could deal with PettyGigs, it could deal with adapting to COVID and adapting to job losses. Like, what word would you like to give to people who are looking for work right now? Either of you could answer. Sorry.
Yeah, Alois, you can.
Well, yeah. So I'll use the word that William somewhat touched on, but it's related to even why I am here, right? So my personal story, like William, immigrated to the U.S. over 2 decades ago, and I actually had put myself through school. And so what that entailed was going to community colleges during the daytime, working at a call center evenings, afternoon to evenings, and then working on the weekends in the warehouse, right?
Jeez.
So straight max out every day of the week, right? Right. Max out, and the only time that was left was really, a low window to crash. So to
Mm-hmm.
but I was able to, power through that, went to some great schools, uh, had a great corporate career for over 15 years.
Yeah.
But the thread that underlined all of that was what I define myself by: two words: passion and persistence, or
Mm.
perseverance, right?
Yeah.
Another way you can say is stick-to-itiveness.
Yeah.
That
Mm-hmm.
ability to stick through things, where you have the mindset where you say failing is acceptable to fail,
Mm-hmm.
failure is never acceptable. Now, what's the
Mm.
difference? The difference is failure is like an end state. Failing is just, it's like a misstep along the way, but you keep pushing through, you keep pushing through, you keep
Yeah.
persevering until you get to the other side. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we're in some very difficult times, right? Where people have lost jobs, people obviously have lost lives, their loved ones, etc.
Mm-hmm.
There is some emotional or mental toll, from a mental health standpoint, that the last 18 months has taken on every one of us, right?
Right.
And
Exactly.
so, for anyone out there trying to kind of push through, the one thing I will say is, just stick to it. It's going to be challenging. Sometimes you're going to lose hope. You're going to get frustrated, but just keep powering on,
Yeah.
and try to find some purpose that you can tie your passion to, because that kind of helps at times when
Type of passion.
when you're trying to kind of push through difficult times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I did this program over a decade ago called MLT, and one of the things that they make you do is they make you do what I call peel the onions, peel the layer of who you are
Mm.
as a person to find, okay, your purpose or your passion, what it is you're most passionate about in life.
Yeah.
How do you know that that's what you're most passionate about? What's your juice to show this is what you're most passionate about?
Mm.
And once you have a sense about your purpose and your passion, and you tie those two things together, right? It
Mm-hmm.
it helps you when you're going through these difficult times, whether it be a job search or whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of keep your eye, on this, keep your eye focused on the horizon. You know where your northern star is, and you're just trying to push through it.
Yeah. I love that. Come on, motivational speaker over here. That's what William was like. Hey, let's do it. Let him do it. Like, give him that one. I love that. I love that. And I hope you guys took from that. Deshay said he said that's good. Good
Right.
information right there. So definitely.
There's
So
anything I can add to that, Alan. So
yeah.
one of the goals of PettyGigs is to democratize entrepreneurship, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everything that Alois just spoke about, comes with entrepreneurship. You have to keep your eyes on the price. You have to you have to set goals and be willing to to accomplish those goals despite what might come in the way. Despite what temporary hardships that
Mm.
you might have. Right. So, an app like Petty Gigs that is going to be out there to empower people to be entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say, I would detail what Ayla said. Keep your eyes on the price.
Yeah.
Persevere. And don't accept temporary failures. There's always a way around something.
Come on. There's always a way around something.
So,
And when
if
you
I can use a basketball analogy for that real quickly, Alan,
okay, go ahead. Yeah.
and I'll go use your namesake, AI. And the
Yeah.
mentality is fall down 6, get up 7.
Mm-hmm.
So you saw
Come
that
on.
little man; he never stayed down. He was
Exactly.
always in the paint,
Yeah.
always going, full throttle. And
Yeah.
that's just the mentality.
So with that mentality, is this the mentality that Petty Gigs is taking into the marketplace right now? So Petty Gigs is coming in as this new app, and it's competing with other apps that are out there that are offering services for people, to make money. Is Petty Gigs coming out there like, hey, look, we're ready to swing. If we get knocked down, we're going to get back up.
Exactly. PettyGigs is bringing the AI mentality. That
Mm,
I am going into a forest of tall trees, but
mhm,
yeah, I'm the little guy, but you ain't gonna stop me. I'm
mm.
gonna go at the ring.
Yeah.
It's the AI approach.
Yeah, I love that. I love that the AI approach. I think it's amazing. First and foremost, so like you guys have climbed your way through education. So it's not just like, oh yeah, we're co-founder, founder. We're boss guys. We founded other things. It's not just that you've done that. You have the education to back up, what you've journeyed through. So William, like what will you say like really helped you get to where you are with your education? Was it learning more about computers as a teen, or was it some stuff in college? What really got you here?
Well, so it's a combination of my past experience growing up as a child through war situation in Liberia that helped prepare me to withstand a lot of things that my peers, especially the ones that grew up outside of third world countries, might not be able to withstand. So and then my love and passion for technology, so I remember back in Liberia as a teen, when I first laid my eyes on computers, that was in my father's office, and and from there I just got a liking for it, and ever since then I have followed my passion. And then when I got the opportunity to come to the States as a in my late teens, I studied computers. I went and got my associate's degree in computer programming at Central Piedmont Community College, and that really prepared me for real world scenarios. That prepared me for the corporate environment, right? So I went and pursued my bachelor's and master's degree in computer information systems, and then worked in corporate America. So corporate America, in its part to prepare me for this, provided the structure, provided the discipline that you need to run and grow a business. So I created corporate America for that. And my passion for computers, and then over everything, it's my desire to be an entrepreneur. So since I've known myself, I would be the one that would question things in corporate, like why is it done this way? If it's done that way, I would be the one to put my hand up when we need new solutions to problems and stuff in corporate, right? And and I just felt it's time. It was no better time to go and follow my passion, follow my desires of being an entrepreneur, helping people. I'm totally gratified when I see the smile on folks' face after I contributed to their success or help. And I believe that's what PettyGigs is going to do. PettyGigs is going to empower billions of people in the world. It's going to help people that would otherwise not have a chance of getting an employment, to be able to earn some kind of money to support themselves and their families. So that right there overshadows everything.
Yeah, that's awesome, and I'm glad that you found that that love for the electronic side of things and technology when you were a teen, because now you have PettyGigs. I feel like as a child, you have people that are they're visionaries, right? We see things, we can imagine things, and we're not satisfied. A lot of times working in a 9-to-5, because our minds expand past that, and we're thinking, what next? What next? So to Alois, you talked about how you came here and you paid your way through college, right? And so what kept you going through that journey? Like you come all the way over here and you press your way through education, and you start working at different companies. You become co-founder, you become founder. Like how is that possible? How do you do it?
Well, so I think if I were to kind of peel the onions, so to speak, and go back, I would say it's wanting to hang around my cool dad. So my dad was like a cool cat, and wanting to hang with him because I was always an inquisitive kid. And so, but my dad had this thing where, to the envy of my siblings, if you stay an honor student, you get rewarded for being an honest student. So every period I'm getting cash, and I get to hang with him, and he get to brag about me, about his smart son. right? And so at a very early age, just that kind of fostered that drive for learning and so forth. So now my passion or my trajectory got interrupted due to the war. But like I told myself, I want by this age to graduate from college, this age, get this graduate degree, et cetera, et cetera. And even with the war, I was still able to successfully complete high school before I turned 17, right?
Oh,
even
wow.
interrupted by the war. So I just naturally, from a younger age, that whole desire to earn, I'm sorry, to learn was already in there.
Yeah.
And that tied to getting here, even though I got derailed, not losing focus, remembering what I told my younger self in terms of the road marks I wanted to hit in terms of college, grad degree, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But also tied to that is at a very early age, and there's, sometimes folks say, money shouldn't be a motivation, but I beg to differ because the world is, in a way, when we think about inequality, a lot of it is economically driven. And if you follow Dr. King, you will see that was a focus of his towards the end of his life.
Right.
More on inequalities from an economic standpoint and less so from a civil or racial standpoint. And why do I say this? So at a very young age, as my dad was kind of fostering that desire to learn by rewarding you for being an honest student, I was also reading a lot, developing my own interests and my own passions.
Yeah.
And one of the things I did recognize at a very early age is I told myself at the age of 7, I want to be a millionaire. Right?
Right.
If you tell yourself at the age of 7 you want to be a millionaire, that means you obviously got to do certain things to get there.
Right, right.
And so along the way, I've tried to keep my eyes on, focus on where I was going, so you got derailed, you keep pushing through it.
Yeah.
That in turn, in addition to the desire to learn that my father fostered, I think one of the factors as it relates to computers. I actually got exposed to computers very early on, like midway during our war, because I stayed in the capital city. And so like I was working on DOS, MS-DOS, and basically the black and green screen, not the GUI type screen.
The matrix screen.
Right. And I was about maybe 12. And got on an actual computer more like when I was maybe about 16, 17 or thereabouts. But even before that, like I got into video games, and if you find a lot of people who go in technology, right, there's a part gaming and part computers. I got into computer games maybe at around 8, 9. So Atari, later on Sega Genesis, so we used to kill ourselves with Space Invaders and all of those things, and so it was just a natural progression to get interested in computers. And like William, I actually did go the tech route initially. So when I went through community college, I got a degree in computer support and network administration, as well as computer programming. And then I went and got another degree, this time a diploma, a 3-year diploma in what's called information assurance, which is more like information security, right? And then afterwards, I then decided very early on that the entrepreneurial bug was something that was interested in me, that was of interest to me. And so I started to explore that, and I pursue studies in entrepreneurial management. And then eventually went off to grad school, got an MBA in finance, and transitioned to finance. So transitioned from tech to finance, and then worked in finance until I left corporate about 3 years ago to become a full-time entrepreneur.
Come on now. Come on, full-time. I hope y'all rubbing this off on me right now. Y'all just rubbing it off on the purpose. Come on, rub it on off now. So that's awesome, man. Thank you for sharing that, Alois. So William, like you have this mastermind that you're connected with, and he's connected to another mastermind. How did this partnership come about?
Right. So fun fact, Illis and I share an older sister. Okay.
Oh.
Right. Right. So and so when I
So you see why I said my dad was a cool cat?
Yeah, he was a cool cat. He was a cool cat.
He was a cool cat. So I got a couple of sisters that are also William's sisters. You know,
right.
My dad had a couple of sisters. I mean, daughters by his mom.
Right.
Okay, so he's a cool cat.
He's a cool cat.
So that's the connection, right? And so when I came up with this idea, I was working full time at the time at United Technologies, and I didn't really have the time to focus on PettyGigs. I wasn't as exposed to entrepreneurship at that level. I've always done entrepreneurship, like I've always been a part of some kind of company, some kind of startup, some kind of nonprofit organization. But this idea I had, I really wanted to take it to the next level. And so I talked to my older sister and mentioned it to her, and she's like, "Oh, but they call him Baby A."
What they call him?
Baby A.
Baby A.
Yeah, Baby A.
Oh, Baby A. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. And so she, spoke in like the Liberian accent. Oh, Baby A. That's what we call it. So, yeah. So she's like, but Ilas is working on a similar, something similar. He might have some idea in terms of how you can, get this started, how you can expand it. And so I reached out to Ilas. I explained, the concept to him that I had at the time, and he thought it was a great idea. So at the time he was like just providing basic guidance to me in terms of how to get started, how to get off the ground with my idea. Yeah. And eventually it turned into a partnership. Eventually Ellis came on as the co-founder of PettyGigs.
Yeah, that's awesome. So that's an awesome connect right there. Look at God. Come on, look at God. Baby A. Baby A is about to be a millionaire. Big A. That's right. That's right. So William. So now you have your brother from the cool dad. And you made your way through education as we talked about as well. And you get to this place where you're working and you're trying to build your dreams. Can you tell us about that process? What was it like transitioning into PettyGigs?
Yeah, it was tough. It was a tough transition. It entailed a lot of long hours. A lot of weekends missed. Because you have to focus. You have to be it all. You have to be your own tech person, your own financial person, your own marketing person. You have to wear all of those hats, right? And it was just getting to the point where I could not think about anything else but think about PettyGigs. And when I went to work, I had a lot of big obligations at work. I had a lot of big responsibilities, and somewhat it was kind of eating into my performance. I remember at one time I came to Illis. I'm like, dude, I'm thinking about leaving my job. You need to pray for me. He's like, no, it's nothing about praying.
You don't gotta pray about that.
He said, no, it's nothing about praying. You have to make that conscious decision. And
wow.
I'm a prayerful person. I prayed about it, and eventually I made the decision, to do it because it just felt right. If you cannot think about anything else but this thing, then it's probably God speaking to you to focus on it, right?
Yeah.
So that was my transition from trying to hold on to a full-time job and be the CEO of PettyGigs.
Yeah.
And to the point where I just had to make this decision to become a full-time entrepreneur.
Yeah. I love that story right there. And Alice, thank you for being a voice in the wilderness for your boy, because he was out there, Lord, what should I do? And he was like, leave your job.
No, well, so I didn't just say leave your job, right?
I'm just messing.
And because I keep it real. So I said, look, man, this is not a situation about praying. It is what it is. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, you can't do it. You can't half-ass it, right? You got to go full throttle. And I mean, and I forgot Elon Musk's direct quote, but it's something towards the effect of being an entrepreneur. It requires a degree of insanity, right? And what do I mean? In both our cases, we had to walk away from very good paying bigger jobs. But at the end of the day, you have to do something that's aligned. Again, you hear me use that P word a lot, passion and your purpose. You have to, right? Because no matter how much money you're making, if you don't feel that sense of fulfillment, you go to work every day and you feel empty, right? And you basically just, pushing hours, so to speak, right? And so what I told him though is, look, it's nothing to pray about. It is what it. If you want to do this, that's what you're gonna have to do. What you do need to do though is have a conversation with the family, because this is something that's going to take a toll on the family.
Right.
Being an entrepreneur takes a toll on your relationships, your family, your friends, people that you used to see. You may not have enough time to see them. And I try to tell him, like, right now, we're just at the beginning of this. The moment that the velocity starts to take off, you're talking instances where literally you won't be in touch with people. And you got to make sure people understand it and don't feel like you're just, ghosting them. Yeah,
that's true. That's true. Hey, look, he gave you good advice, brother, so you just gotta hold on to that advice. Y'all, I mean, obviously it was good advice because we're here right now, days away from the app launch. So the launch party. I can't make Friday, but I'm coming down Saturday. I'm making it my goal. I was like, I can't just miss out. I gotta work Friday. But Saturday I'll be in the house for sure. So definitely check that out. So okay, Pastor Speller says, how long did it take to develop? Months, years? Question.
Right. So I'll say end to end. If you took away some of the periods of inactivity with the app development, I would say about a year.
A year?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's not bad at all. So that means that. So you're telling me, William, is that if I have an idea, from the conception of the idea to the actual app launch has been a year.
Right. So we started the the company and all of the formalities around creating a company. And we started that around the beginning of 2019, and went through a period of raising money to do the initial build of the app. Okay. So it actually the journey started around 2019, and we were able to bring something to market in June of this year.
Okay, so that was that process, right? So we didn't want people to miss that though, because you got to have some money to get the foundation right, to get the skeleton built up. So for the people out there who do want to create their own app one day, like, let's just go there since you guys have this app out there right now, and then we'll jump back into PettyGigs. But for the people out there who are looking like, hey, William, hey, Alice, like, what do I need to do in order to create this app for an idea that I have? They can't even code. They don't know anybody that code. Like, they just have an idea. What are like a couple of things they should do?
So this is what I would say. The first thing you want to do is take the idea out of your head and write it. Write down the idea. Now, your idea shouldn't be what we call a solution in search of a problem, but rather a solution for a defined problem. As an entrepreneur, you should be trying. So let me deviate a little bit. When I talked about being a millionaire at 7, right? What was driving that is a belief that you cannot choose where you were born, when you were born, what family you were born into. You
Mm-hmm.
should be able to choose when you die, though some people do, unfortunately. But what you can choose is that dash between those two dates on your tombstone, between your birth date and your death date. And whether that dash is a legacy that lives on after you. And so,
Mm.
for me, from a passion standpoint, my passion is all about socioeconomic empowerment. So,
Yeah.
everything I work on, whether it's my corporate life, in my business life, startup life, in my political life, is all socioeconomic empowerment. That kind of drives me. That's the fuel that motivates me, right?
Yeah.
And
I like
so,
that.
taking that same thing after you write down your idea, right? So the reason I say write it down, so everything that I then devote time to is I'm trying to solve a problem that involves empowering someone. So in the case of PettyGigs, I am focusing on empowering teens and young adults,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's what drives me because I didn't have that opportunity to be similarly empowered at that
Yeah.
age, right? Because if
Right.
I did, all of those dreams that I had for myself at 7, I would probably have actualized them by 21, right?
Right. Right.
But by writing it down, then you say, okay, what is the problem I'm trying to solve, right? And then who are the folks that I'm trying to solve this problem for?
Mm.
Once you know who your intended target audience is, one of the next things you should do is what I call customer discovery. And you can do that through surveys, you can
Mm-hmm.
do that through just having conversations with your likely customers, right?
Yeah.
Or people who fit the demographic of your customers to understand, okay, is this problem really a pain point for you? How are you addressing this problem now, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you're struggling with, right? How are you addressing it now? And if I were to create something to address this, would you be interested in using it? Or you
Mm.
can flip it and say, is there something that you think could be created that will be useful in addressing this problem for you? Type thing.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
what you're trying to do there is you're trying to get a sense for what the customer wants.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, building an app is great, but you got to be meeting a need. Because the
Right.
reason that's important is once you do launch your app, there's something called product market fit. You're trying
Mm-hmm.
to make sure your product fits the market. And for your
Mm.
product to fit the market, your product has to be trying to solve a problem in the market for some customers who have a certain pain point who need your solution.
Mm.
And
I,
so,
I like that.
then once you have that sense, okay, you got a clear definition of your product, right? The next thing you want to do is do what I would call a Disney mapping. You try to think of all the bells and whistles. If you could envision where you want that product to go, or that app to go, what would all of that entail? Write those down as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then once you've had that, the next thing you're doing that essentially is in a text space, high level, and it's not quite it, but it's called you
Mm-hmm.
could consider it almost like the requirements, right?
Yeah.
Um, because once you have the requirements, now the next thing is trying to find how you want to go about building this product. Now there are no code solutions out there which you can use to build, and then there are code solutions out there that you can use to build, right? And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of no code solutions you have to teach yourself, or you can find no code services that are out there and they'll do it for you.
Yeah. It's
And
true.
then there are code solutions out there where you can do some offshore developer, uh,
Mm-hmm.
which is actually what PettyGigs did,
Yeah.
or you can find some onshore development shop that can
Mm-hmm.
build a product for you at a given cost, right?
Okay. And those are safe transactions to get like let's say, like how you guys did it. I'm assuming it's safe. You got your product. Do you guys have to ever worry about like the people that are overseas?
You have to. Uh,
Yeah.
and the developer we end up using was actually someone that William knew prior to.
Okay.
They had
Good.
worked together in the past.
Yeah.
Whenever you do work with folks overseas, so as you know, I founded another startup, and for those same concerns that you're addressing, I
Mm-hmm.
chose to use developers here in the U.S.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
yes, this is a valid concern.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I would hate, for somebody to have a Petty Gigs India right now, like they Petty Gigs India. So you guys, if you guys see that, make sure y'all let them know. But I think that's awesome, and it goes to show that it is possible, like turning that thought idea, putting it down on paper, and making that plan for it. So I mean, I have a lot of ideas, but we'll talk about those ideas later. Let's talk about this Petty Gig idea though. So we were talking about earlier, like cutting grass, right? And when I was like a teenager, I would go around and in the summertime and like cut yards for $20, right? $20 a yard. That was pretty cheap back in the day. That's when gas was like 50 cents on display. But yeah, so I was doing that, and like there was a need right there to connect me with people who needed my services. So that's pretty much what, like you were talking about, finding out what the need is, right? So is
Right.
that what Petty Gigs is feeling like? There was a need for people who had common gigs, and they needed someone that was not like from a big company, but an individual, right? You're connecting individuals with individuals, right?
Well, it was twofold, right? On one end, we found that you got this huge pool of folks, right? Teens and young adults, that roughly, depending on whose numbers you're looking at least 30 million, as high as possible 50 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the talent pool. But all of the existing geek platforms that are out there, for the most part, ignore that demographic, right? In fact, we've had conversations with people who were interested in some shape or form in Petty Gigs, and the feedback was like, "You guys are going after the most unreliable demographic." And I tend to
Ooh,
disagree.
really?
Yeah, I tend to disagree. People tend to think that young people don't want those opportunities. They do. It just hasn't been presented to them. And the
Mm,
moment we do, they will capitalize upon it, right? And so
yeah.
that's what we're doing, because that's the problem we saw, that young people weren't being given the chance, weren't being given the opportunities, right, to,
Mm-hmm.
to attain financial freedom at an early age. And
Yeah.
everybody is being put in this strict jacket of that you have to go to college and you have to do this and you have to do that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that may not be the path for everyone. And then on the
Right.
flip side, there's not a platform that's there to do on demand, short term, any kind of on demand, short term tax,
Yeah.
you know, all across, the communities. And that's where Petty Gigs also comes in. So we're trying, because it's a two-sided marketplace, and so we're trying to solve problems on both sides of the market.
I see. I like that. I mean, and it could be said that it's a big task, to do that, but you guys are doing it. I actually downloaded the app last night. I don't know if I was allowed to or not, but I did it anyways. So I downloaded the app last night. And so I still have to set up my account, because I'm an electrician. And I was just telling my wife, I was like, I was an electrician in the Marine Corps. I did electrical engineering at school, right? Electrical engineering technology. But I'm doing like software support with IBM, and I had the podcast. I'm not even doing electrical stuff. But now that Petty Gigs is here, I am definitely going to try to get me some gigs as an electrician, for home repairs and stuff. So like this is like when you talk about meeting a need, it's also for people who already have a job, who don't mind doing what they're good at doing for extra money, right?
Yep.
So yeah, I'm definitely excited about that. So we're getting good here, folks. I hope that you're learning a lot about Petty Gigs, and also the two behind Petty Gigs and their team. Before I move on to the more questions, I wanted to ask you guys if you each could tell your team something. Like, I want you to go ahead and take this moment right now to talk to the people that have been helping you out with Petty Gigs, the supporters, the investors. Each of you, William, you go first, and then Alish, you can go ahead and tackle that after he does it. What do you guys have to say to them?
Right. So I just want to start by saying that I have the best team in the entire world. These guys were willing to put their hands up to, say, I want to help when
Mhm.
we most needed help. So from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate every single one of my team members that have been helping out with Petty Gigs for any length of time.
Yeah.
Most of these guys have full-time jobs, right? And it speaks
Hmm.
a lot that they can put that aside. In some instances, put family matters aside to come and help out PettyGigs. That means a lot to me, and I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. And then the investors, right? If you come up with those crazy idea that is just in an idea state, and you have folks out there that's willing to take the bet on you on your idea, that speaks volume. And I appreciate everyone. From family and friends to pre-seed partners that have contributed to putting their financial providing some kind of financial assistance for PettyGigs to come this far. I appreciate everyone, and we are working, Alois and I, and whoever we bring on the funding leadership team. We're going to work to ensure that your investment is maximized. We 10x your investment. We're going to work hard to ensure that.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. What about you, Alois?
Well, I mean, there's not a whole lot more to add to what William said because he covered all the bases. But I just want to thank all of them, right? The founding team, the interns, the consultants, and obviously the investors, right? For believing in the vision, right? Because when something is still just an idea, it's just a concept. The fact that you're willing to sacrifice your time, that you could use to other things when you have another life, or in the case of investors, your money, right? Yeah. And take a chance on us. I think, all I can say is we're going to build this family together, and we're going to try our darnest to show that vision, that long-term vision, that we collectively achieve it together. But thank you. The belief is greatly appreciated.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome and beautiful to have a backing, to have people that believe, like William, believe in what, your thought, the crazy idea that's not created yet, but it's like, hey, look, I have this idea. I need your help and support. I think that's awesome that you guys have that, and that you've gotten to this place. Like, I can legitimately say that I've interviewed people who have launched an app. Like, the week that they're launching the app, I'm interviewing them. So I really appreciate that. I have a couple more questions, and then we're gonna cut the interview. I know, Alois, you said you're traveling and stuff too, but I want to be respectful for your time. So you still got a couple more minutes, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, cool. All right, y'all having a good time? Y'all enjoying yourself on the Purpose Pod?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Awesome. So, people, if you have any questions, please make sure you get them in. If you have any questions, please make sure you get them in. I have another question. Pastor Speller says, any plans to allow you to use app from website? Can you use the app from a website?
Yeah. So basically, what you're asking is, our go-to-market strategy is mobile first. And what that means is that we first launched the iOS and the Android's version of the app, but we eventually will launch the web version of the platform as well. And so a user, say an elderly person, will be able to go on there and post his or her gig through the website.
Mm-hmm. That's so in time. But the website is, the app is pretty handy dandy. They do have PettyGig does have a website that you guys can check out, PettyGigs.com. But the app is very, very easy to use. Even just the breakdown. I wish I was going to make a video on how to get through the app, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Like, once you get on there, you're the gigger or you're the person offering the gig. What was that? What was the name? What was the name for that? The person offering the gig?
Gig posters.
Yeah.
Gig posters. Right. So you're either the gigger or the gig poster, and so okay, I do have a question for that, because what if I am a gig poster and then I'm also someone trying to fulfill a gig? Like, is that are you able to do that?
Yes. Yeah. It's seamlessly integrated within the app. You can switch your profile from your gig profile to your gig poster profile.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So I mean, if you guys are out there, DJs, are they going to do DJs? If somebody needs a DJ, that's a serious question. DJ Davi's right here. He did our 10-minute mix. Would DJs be able to use this app as well?
So right now, I don't 100% believe we've had
Yeah, we do.
all virtual gigs. No, we have it for in person for one, right? But we don't have a lot of virtual gigs opportunities defined yet. Eventually, we'll be able to do that where he can perform virtually. But right now, he can be booked for an in-person gig through the app.
Okay, so that's what I needed right there. So DJ Davi, all the DJs out there, you can be booked for an actual in-person session if you download PettyGigs. So that's awesome. So pretty much any in-person job right there, he loves that right there. Give me 3 strong arms. Let's get it. So appreciate the insight and gems. Really enjoying this interview. Thank you, DJ Davi. So awesome. So people, if you're out there, like I said, and you need a gig, and you know someone who need a gig, like just download the app first. Do that first. Download the app first. Is that my feedback or is that somebody else?
Yeah, that might
mine.
be mine.
Okay. All right, cool. So let's get it moving. Let's get it moving. So we're talking about PettyGigs. PettyGigs. Oh yeah. So I was going to ask this question because I'm from Charleston, South Carolina, right? And I know that there's some little boy back home that may look up to me and say, "Hey, Alan, like, how do I get to where you are?" Do you guys want to speak to the children back at home? You know, cousins or family members or anyone out there who, you know, maybe right now they're like, "All right, this isn't possible for me because of what my family has. I know it's not possible." Like, what do you want to say to that person?
I mean, for me, I believe anyone can be, you know, whatever they or whomever they want to be. Okay, so you know, some of the things we spoke about earlier, being able to set goals and keep your eyes on the goals and not pay attention to temporary stoppage or blockage. You know, so where there is a will, you know, there is a way. Right.
Okay.
So if you have a will, there's a way. You know, just keep. In Charlotte, we say keep pounding. Sorry, Ellis, I'm a Panther.
Let's go Panthers.
Keep pounding, right? So keep pounding. You know, for me, so the journey of PettyGigs, right? That's not been easy. So when I started this journey, in the middle of it, I got unexpectedly laid off from my previous corporate job, right? And I was devastated when it happened, but that was a blessing in disguise. And I say this because things are going to happen in their lives that will appear as if is a bad situation, but try to make a positive situation out of every negative situation that comes in your life, right? And I say this to say that when I got laid off, it allowed me, I was laid off for like 3 months, and it allowed me to, you know, within those 3 months to accelerate the formation of PettyGigs, to start on, you know, working on the app development and stuff like that. And those 3 months kind of helped me to be where the app is today, right? Wow. So if I had like waddled in that misfortune and just like, you know, giving up, now there's no PettyGigs.
Right.
So regardless of what people will say, like you're not anything, you cannot account to anything. Where there is a way, that will, there is a way.
Yeah. I love that. And that's what PettyGigs is here for. There's a will, there's a way. You may be down and out right now. You may be down and broke right now. But look, PettyGigs is on the way. I'm over here making my own commercials. So, Alois, what do you want your legacy to be? You've come this far, and you have I don't know if you hit the millions yet, brother. But if you have, you can tell me. You can text me a message. You know, I'll see my bank account. But but what do you want your legacy to be?
Like I said, right? So it's all about that dash and whether or not that dash lives on after you. And for me, that is about making sure that I have impacted the lives of others from a socioeconomic empowerment standpoint. That means, for example, for my family, I have left them in a better economic standing than we started, right? That means for others beyond my family, I have positively created opportunities for them, i.e., PettyGigs. That means for my, the nation of my birth, I have somewhat contributed to the socioeconomic empowerment of its nearly 5 million folks. And that means for people that look like me here in the US, I have similarly contributed to improving their lives because we all go through the same struggles here.
Right. You're right. And we definitely do. I do. I know I do. I know it ain't easy. I know nothing in this world. Like people say America, I want to go to America, and there's this pursuit, there's the dream in my wallet type thing, but it's not easy. After you come here, whether you're coming from the West Coast or far west, far east, it's not easy. So I really, give it to people who continue to persist. They continue to push forward, even when you get let go from a job, even when things are still on the grind. The grind is really tough, when you don't have the millions yet.
Right.
So I'm glad to see you guys stay focused. William, your legacy, I know you and your wife, you guys been married for 9+ years. So what's your legacy going to be? What do you want your legacy to be?
Yeah, so my legacy is going to be, turning little Johnny, who loves to take pictures, turning him into an entrepreneur, using PettyGigs to be that vehicle that propels him to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Seeing homeless folks that would have rather had no hope on the street, using PettyGigs to turn their lives around. That millions of folks, because what we are creating now could be global, right?
Yeah.
Millions of folks would earn using PettyGigs, that would become wealthy using PettyGigs because they pay attention to their inner entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Right? So that would be my legacy, just helping people.
I love that, and that's a long-lived impact.
Right.
It's that impact that you change other people's lives, and then they go change other people's lives, and it keeps happening. And I think when we're all better off financially, like when we have money coming in, we're happy.
Right.
Some people have been going through things in their marriage because of finances.
Right.
There's been a lot of dreamers out there, dreamers who've been dreaming, and the spouse is like, where's the money? Where's there's the I see the dream, but where's the money? So I just want to encourage every person out there. If you're the visionary and your spouse may not be the visionary, or if you're the spouse that isn't a visionary and your other spouse is a visionary, we just want you to just stand by them. Because there's people out there who have big dreams and they can make it happen, like PettyGigs is making it happen this weekend. So man, so definitely, like, people, download PettyGigs. I'm about to put it up right here. We're closing. If you guys have any questions, please ask your questions here. But here is what it looks like, PettyGigs. You can sign up with your email, Facebook, Google, or with Apple. You can sign up there, and then you see Gigger and Gig poster to the right of it right here. That's the next step that follows. And like I said, you can easily get through this sign up. So please make sure you go download PettyGigs today, and make sure if you're in Charlotte, make sure you go support. Are you guys launching anywhere else outside of Charlotte, or is it just mainly in Charlotte?
Eventually, we will there outside of Charlotte, outside of North Carolina as a whole. But our go-to-market is initially to get product market fit in the Charlotte area.
Okay, awesome. Do you guys have any last closing words for the folks out there? Any closing remarks for PettyGigs? Speaking for we have the two spokesmen right here for PettyGigs. Do you guys want to leave any lasting words on the audience's ears tonight?
Yeah, I'll kind of keep it short because I got a flight to catch. But
okay.
Thank you, Alan, for the time. Definitely enjoyed the conversation. For those listening out there, hopefully PettyGigs' story and that of the founder and co-founder has motivated you to know that if there's a purpose that you have or something you're passionate about, don't get deterred. Continue to persevere, continue to push forward, continue to chip away, until you get to what it is you want to work towards. It's all about staying focused. It's all about living your purpose. At the end of the day, that's the most. If there's nothing you take away, is live your purpose and try to tie whatever you do to what you're most passionate about.
I love it.
Yeah, so I would use a passage, from the Bible. I think it was in Exodus when the Israelites were fearful of giants and stuff, and there's a passage in the Bible that says, "Don't let the giants scare you, because the giants you see today will be no more." So when you're setting out to do stuff, there will be giants. Don't pay attention to the giants. Keep your eyes on the prize. Believe in yourself, because you can do whatever you set to do. And I just want to thank you, Alan, for putting this together. Appreciate it. Thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, and also want to leave one last word to my team. And all of the supporters out there for PettyGigs. Thank you so much. Thank you for all that you do. We appreciate you.
Awesome. And are you guys looking for any new investors, or is there a way that people can get into investing if they want to help PettyGigs out?
Yeah, definitely. We are, and I can share my information with you later on, Alan.
Okay.
You can email us to invest@pettygigs.com if you are interested in being an investor. We can set up a meeting and discuss next steps.
Okay.
So that's invest@pettygigs.com.
Invest@pettygigs.com. Bam. I'll do it right there. I spelled it right. Bam, right there. All right, cool. So invest@pettygigs.com. Make sure you guys reach out and support. PettyGigs has social media. Make sure you guys are going on social media, following PettyGigs, sharing this interview right here with the founder and co-founder. Please share it. These guys are very brilliant, smart, bright men. I'm very glad that I've had this opportunity. Melvin, I appreciate you, brother, for connecting us. We really do appreciate you guys. So, all right, Alois and William, guys, thank you so much for coming on the Purpose Pod, sharing your journey, and let's get PettyGigs off the ground. Let's get it. Let's go.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Hey, safe travels, Alois.
Thank you.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this has been another episode, a special episode of the Purpose Pod. Please, William, Ward, Alois, Monger, you guys make sure you need to know these names. I'm talking about, I can't wait to see them in like New York Times and the Wall Street Journal. And I'm talking about, I want to get my stock in PettyGigs one day. Like, it has to happen. It has to happen. It has to happen. We appreciate all of you, friends and family, PettyGiggers around the world. We appreciate you for tuning in. I love the excitement. Congratulations. This is awesome. Looking forward to launch and success of PettyGigs. Right. Come on. Nicholas, thank you. Big ups. Great work for the community. Thank you so much. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you. We appreciate you guys so much. William and Alois did a great job. Make sure you follow PettyGigs on Instagram. And Friday and Saturday, PettyGigs is having an event in Charlotte, North Carolina. Make sure you guys go check out their website, or you can email hello@pettygigs.com to get some more information. Follow PettyGigs on Facebook and Instagram. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Purpose Pod. Please remember to continue to dream your dreams like William did. Continue to dream your dreams. This has been another episode of the Purpose Pod, purposely driving you forward with power and faith. I'm your host, Alan Levi Simmons. We're coming back on next Tuesday. Talasha Kane, Marine. Let's get it. Let's go. Peace.